So the other question I've been asking again around my travels in Europe now is how many people are happy with the way the world is going? And once again, not a single person ever puts up their hand. There are always people that put up their hand jokingly and they say this or that. But ultimately, what you find, no matter where you go in the world, whether it's in Austria, Germany, Italy, Spain, Ireland, London, Czech Republic, everywhere I go, in Australia, wherever you go, and all my many trips to the USA and the probably more than 100 cities that I've spoken in the USA, no one ever puts up their hand to say that they're happy with the way the world is going. What it tells us is that everyone in the world is equally unhappy with what's going on. We all know that it's wrong. We all know that what's going on, that what's happening to us is wrong. It is something is completely wrong with the system. But most people just simply believe that it's impossible to find a solution, that it's impossible to find a way out. And that's where we let ourselves down, where we forget who we are. We forget what's encoded in our DNA. We forget that we are the creators of our own reality. And we fall back into that trap, that psychological trap of self-destruction. This is what we got to overcome. Never, ever, ever get sucked into that. Always remind yourself that we create our own reality. You know, that part of science and physics, quantum physics, is more than 100 years old. But we don't teach that to the children at schools, because in the schools, the fact that we are the creators of our own reality. Because those that set the school syllabuses know exactly what that would do to the children. And therefore, we don't teach that at school. So those of you that know this, are familiar with it, those that are new to this, welcome to the club. Welcome to the age of enlightenment and awakening. Welcome to the group that realize that we're the ones we've been waiting for, and we're the activators, activating that energetic field and that resonance in the great structure of things that is already activating this new, beautiful future. Now, you might think that this is something new, that this is new, there's just a few of us. Don't be fooled. There are millions of people around the world that have started following what we're doing, that have started taking interest. Millions of people. All you got to do is look at our website. You see how many people have hit on the website and have read what we're doing. Millions of people that have watched my videos on YouTube, far more than we've actually had hits on the website. So all this information is out there in the morphogenetic field, activating it already. And never, ever underestimate a small number of people or the effect of a small number of people on the whole. This is very important, that we realize that what we do in these small groups, in the small meetup groups in your own town, in your own village, in your own community, these small meetup groups that we need to start having more and more frequently. Once you totally resonate with this and you lose your fear of talking about a world where money does not exist, once you lose that fear and you're prepared to call together some people to talk about it, you'll see how quickly this thing grows and how you realize how many people are thinking what you're thinking. You're not alone in the way you think. There are millions of people that think what you're thinking, that know that something is wrong, that know that everything is wrong. But most people are too scared to speak up because they think they'll be ridiculed and laughed at. They might laugh at you if you talk about UFOs and aliens, but they're certainly not going to laugh at you when you start talking about the plight of the planet and everyone on it. So use the money thing as a breaking point, as a point of entry. The money thing and the banks, the origins of money, and so forth. Because remember that we live on a planet of abundance. We do not live on a planet of scarcity. This is the big lie that we've been told all the time, that everything is scarce. No, that's a consequence of capitalism, and the control of money creates scarcity. That is why so many people today go hungry. More people are hungry today than at any stage of our human history. Now, that is a crime against the people. Every single one of us. And you know who's responsible for that. We're going to deal with that. We know, everyone knows that our system is broken. It is not just spiraling out of control. It is completely out of control. And it cannot be fixed. And, you know, part of the reason I wrote, one of the reasons I wrote the Ubuntu book, the contributionism book, was to sort of sketch a plan of action or a philosophy to implement if the entire global financial systems had to collapse. If tomorrow you went to the bank and the sign came up, sorry, ATM closed, bank closed until further notice. And if the banks just don't reopen in the next day or the next week, Within a month, there's complete chaos and panic, and the entire country, every single country, will be bankrupt if the banks simply close their doors for whatever reason. So I felt compelled to write down this plan to show people how simple it is when we start working together, how quickly we can create abundance and create unity among the people through the abundance that we create. So we have to find a new system. The one that we've got is broken. And you should know by now Albert Einstein's famous expression that we cannot solve the problems we face using the same kind of thinking we used when we created the problem. That's very obvious, isn't it? But sometimes you have to say it, and say it to yourself over and over again, so that it really internalize it and really understand what Albert Einstein was trying to tell us.
Music